seconds.
Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in?
Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to On the Pipe Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler Shepherdson, and today is Tuesday, February the 8th, 2022, which means you are joining me just in time for this week's episode of OTP Tuesday, and boy, do we got an action-packed one coming at you today. I'm so stoked to be back. I'm so stoked to be doing these podcasts. I'm so stoked to be healing up and moving on, and even more so, I am so stoked that race season 2022 is upon us. I'm getting so much more amped up by the minute. We got an awesome show coming at you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show that we did last night. Last night was OTP's weekend review with Stu. So if you are just now catching up with OTP, we started doing a Monday show that's going to be a race recap show. And then still, we got our trademark, our stamped, our day of the week, OTP Tuesdays, where we bring you interviews throughout the industry. This week is no different. We got a good one. A lot of fun conversations coming on. First up, we are going to have Jack Edmondson. Jack joined the GNCC series in 2017 on an XC3 machine. That was the year that XC3 was started. He won the first 4 or 5 races and then ended up getting injured and didn't get to finish out the season for the points. But he is back this year, so we're going to talk to him and everything that he's been up to since 2017. And then after that, we got the top overall amateur for the year last year and the 250A champion. JoJo Cunningham sits down and joins us. He just had a leg injury of his own. He has a broken femur, so we got to touch base with JoJo, figure out his plan of action, how he's doing, how he's recovering, and what this year can look like for him. And then, last but certainly not least, we were joined by a guy that I looked up to as a kid. I watched him on The Ultimate Fighter when I was in high school. He was on the first season of The Ultimate Fighter, the UFC's reality TV show. He was right in the middle of the boom that was MMA and the UFC. He fought for the UFC Welterweight Championship of the world. He's fought several high-level guys, and he was a 4-time All-American wrestler and a college national champion wrestler who also just happens to be the new owner of the Gas Sprint Enduro Series. Josh Koscheck will join us as our third guest here tonight. And I couldn't be more excited for you guys to listen to all 3 of these conversations. And hopefully you take something out of it. And hopefully you are enjoying these episodes of OTP, because I am enjoying being back. I'm enjoying doing more shows. I'm enjoying doing the shows every week, and I'm enjoying the stuff that we keep unlocking and uncovering as we have these conversations. So I hope that you all are enjoying them as well. As always, I want to give a big shout out to our buddies over at Armored Graphics. They have helped OTP since the very beginning. They designed our logo. They designed the JGR Suzuki motocross and supercross teams graphics. So all the graphics you saw them boys running, they were made right here in Monroe, North Carolina by the good folks over at Armored Graphics. Remember that if you want the best graphics on the market with the highest quality materials that they are, you yourself can have your very own set of Armored Graphics, and you can even save 20% off of your Armored Graphics by using promo code OTP20. That will save you 20% off of your graphics kit. And if you're interested in an OTP-specific kit, it is not on their website. It is exclusive to you OTP listeners. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. We'll get you dialed in. Let me know what kind of bike you got, and I will show you what a perspective kit could possibly look like for you. and we'll get you dialed in. But check them out, armorgraphics.com or at armorgraphics on the social medias. Also, a big shout to our official manufacturer of On the Pipe podcast, Beta Motorcycles, Beta USA. See, I always want to get into how sweet these machines are, but I can't wait to show you guys the video evidence, and hopefully you yourself can ride a Beta and see what makes them so great. Beta Motorcycles is the official manufacturer of On the Pipe podcast. Beta Motorcycles has been a family-owned and operated company since 1905. They manufacture the finest enduro, trials, and dual sport motorcycles that are known for their premium quality and rideability. Beta Motorcycles are the best-looking bikes on the market and back it up with their superior performance. Head over to betausa.com for more information on their available models or to find a dealer near you to get yours today. As we talked about it, they are the only dirt bike manufacturer that I know of that comes with a 6-month warranty. You get your Beta, you ride it for 6 months. If anything goes wrong, hey, give them a call, and you're under warranty. I've never heard of that for a closed competition machine of any type, especially a dirt bike. They also have their very own suspension shop. You can order your Beta motorcycle with suspension already set up, sprung and valved for you. How cool is that? Where else can you do that at? You can go on their website just like you're going on Amazon, except you can order a Beta dirt bike and you can also get your very own suspension on it. So a lot of cool things that they are doing over there. It's a really cool company. They dump a lot of support into the sport, which I absolutely love because we're all about supporting the sport and supporting the riders. With that being said, I will quit my yapping. We got 3 very great guests to get to. As always, be a friend, tell a friend. If you like these shows or you learn something new from it, don't be afraid to let a buddy know, hey, maybe you should go listen to On the Pipe podcast. And if you are here listening off of a buddy's recommendation, give them a high five because they've earned it. Whatever you're listening to us on, if you could, be a doll and subscribe. So if you're on Apple Podcasts, just back out of this real quick. Hit that subscribe button. Same thing if you're on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can get a podcast. Wherever you're listening to this at, if you could go ahead and click subscribe. It really helps us out, especially as I make this big push this year for OTP to be the premier source of your off-road news and content. Got a lot of exciting things in the pipeline, but I learned my lesson. I'm going to do things and then announce them versus announce things that might not happen. So I get really excited when something comes through my brain. I want to tell everybody about it. I want to tell you about it. But sometimes it's before I work out the details of it. So just rest assured knowing that we got some really cool things on the horizon as this race season starts to kick off. This weekend, in my neck of the woods, we have the US Sprint Enduro, which is also an ISDE qualifier. They are going on as south of the border. We got I keep wanting to say the old title sponsor of the full Gas Sprint Enduro Series because I've said it thousands of times, but I always got to catch myself. The full Gas Sprint Enduro Series is also happening this weekend. They took last year off, changed ownerships, and this will be the first race of the new ownership. And it will be this weekend at Outback ATV Park, which don't let the ATV park fool you. That is a really great place to ride. They have some of the best dirt around, and I'm excited to see how that full gas race goes. And as I mentioned, you will be hearing from the new full gas owner, Josh Koscheck, here in just a little bit. And I think after you hear him, you're going to be amped up and ready to go race it as well. We also got the Middies Hare Scramble Series. They're kicking off in Union, South Carolina this weekend as well. And I'm sure there are a lot of local series near you, wherever you're listening to this at, that will also be racing this weekend. But it all means that we are just 1 week and a few days away from the return of GNCC racing. And I can't wait. I'm stoked. I'm excited. I'm here for it. But I mentioned I was going to quit yapping. That was a few minutes ago. So now I'm actually going to quit yapping. And we're going to go to our first guest of the evening. He was over here racing the XC3 class in 2017. He's a 2016 125 World Enduro Champion, the 2020 British Sprint Champion, Jack Edmondson, coming back across the pond, joining us once again. Jack, how's everything going?
Good. Thanks for having me. It's nice to be on here. Start of the year is going good. Just with Jordan at the minute in Florida and deep into the training.
Sweet. And I guess you're making your media rounds as well. I just saw that you did the Tuesday toolbox for GNCC today too.
Yeah, we're trying to get it all in as much as we can at the minute. Yeah.
Well, there you go, man. I think it's safe to say you got a bit of a hype train coming into you, coming back over and racing with us this year. As we mentioned, 2017, you came over on the Coastal team, racing the XC3 class. It was actually the first year of the XC3 class, and came out swinging, won the first 4 straight, and then ended up getting hurt, so missed some rounds there. Walk us through that. Like, how do you remember your 2017?
Yeah, so I just remember it starting off like so well. Every round I was just getting better and managed to like bang in a top 10 result on the 125. So I was like super stoked with that.
Yeah, top 10 overall on a 125.
Yeah, so that kind of got me fired up and I was loving it really, and had some racing at home I was committed to. And that's when the injury happened and it just ruined that whole flow that I had at the start of the season.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening with that injury? Like, what did you do?
So it was, I cased a log jump at home and snapped my wrist like into like 8 pieces. Oof. So it took a lot of like time out of the year to get it healed and stuff. And by the time I'd come back, everyone had that season's experience and they're all still fit, and I'd been sitting on the couch. So yeah, it really kind of ruined my flow.
Yeah, but I mean, even with that, I think, like you said, ended up finishing 3rd place for the year, and then you kind of went back and did a bunch of stuff between then and now. Coming into that season, was it your plan to do 1 season and be done, or were you kind of winging it? I mean, what was the plan going into that season?
Yeah, no, it was for sure to kind of get settled in America and hopefully, kind of go from there and move up to the XC2, and because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to race the cross country stuff because as a kid, that's all I did at home. We had a series at home that I'd race all the time that my dad put on, so I felt comfortable doing it. And then the end of that season, I had the opportunity to stay or go home to a 2-year contract with Sherco, and I kind of just had to go home and secure myself a deal for the next 2 years.
Yeah, and then I think 2 turned into 4, and then maybe into 5. And I know you came back in 2018 and raced Ironman. How did that whole situation come about? Yeah,
that was nice. I mean, I was coming to the 2018, so it was the first year of the Sherco contract, and they were pretty keen for me to come over and do it to see how we'd stack up. And it went really well, to be honest. Didn't get the whole shot. I think I was mid-pack, and then I just got piled on in like turn 3. So I was dead last, and I made it back all the way up to 3rd. And then the battery died, I think, and the bike shut off.
Oh, man.
So I didn't finish there, but any opportunity to come over here, I've always been up for it.
Yeah, and that's kind of one thing that I wanted to ask, just kind of going back and looking through things and kind of reliving that year, because I was actually working with Racer TV and GNCC that year, and I remember you coming out of nowhere and like everyone telling me about you, and then you had that dominating run for the first half of the season in XC3, and then you come back in 2018 and you get in that XC2 class and you're running in 3rd place, and I guess ever since 2017 as a whole, and then proving yourself in XC2, even though ended up not finishing that race, but still proving yourself there. How much has this been on your brain since then about wanting to come back and chase this GNCC thing again?
Yeah, like every year pretty much. I've always wanted to come back, and I said to the guys, even when I was with Sherco, if it was possible ever to come here again, for them to let me know. Every year I've been thinking about it, and fortunate this year, everything after COVID and everything, we're allowed back in and we're possible to make it happen again with the Magna team.
Sweet, and that's what I was going to lead into. Is you really found yourself an awesome place there with that Magna One team, all around great group of people. From Jordan, who you mentioned you're down there riding with,
Yeah.
and Chris running the team, and Brody, and everyone involved with that team. How did that whole thing come about? How did you end up getting this ride with Magna One?
So I've known Chris since 2017, and so I've followed what they've all been up to, and obviously I follow GNCC. So, I spoke with Chris a little bit, and it was my friend actually that introduced me. Well, not introduced me, told me that Chris was running the team and he'd be interested in helping me get back over here. Alex Teagarden. So, he put me in touch with Chris, and we spoke back and forth a little bit, and were able to make something happen pretty quick, to be honest, which was nice.
When did that whole thing start? Like, what was the timeline of setting this whole deal up?
It was quite late, I think. I think it was like October time that we were on the phone. So when it started, me and Teagarden were talking about it. He was like, "Oh, what are you doing next year?" and all this. And I had a injury last year, which I had a bone infection in my arm. So that put me out at the World Championship for a bit, and so I didn't really have a ride in Europe anymore. He was like, "Oh, let me make some phone calls." So one thing led to another. He spoke to Chris, and I think by the end of October we were sorted.
Oh wow! So
yeah,
like a 2.5, 3 month time frame from getting everything dialed in, and now you're here.
Yeah, literally. Like January. As soon as January came, that was it. We was training at home on the Husky. I had a 250 ready to go. So I was on that. I think I was doing like 5 days a week riding, just trying to get the hours in on it. And then, January 18th, I flew straight to Florida, and Chris had everything here. And we've been flat out training ever since I got here.
That's sick. And I'm stoked to see you back. And this is probably one of the most stacked years that XC2 has ever been. And even with that talent pool, I think you coming over, I think you're automatically in that conversation of the front runners and in the hunt for that championship. Do you have any goals set for yourself as far as that's concerned?
I would. My goal would be to kind of start off again like I did in 17. Kind of like solidify my place in that class. Not necessarily winning, but I want to be on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
So just to be on the podium as much as possible and just get as many wins as I can, really. I just want to be kind of improving each race as well, and, be consistent and finish the year out strong.
Absolutely. And we're a little over a week away from going GNCC racing, but this past weekend had the National Enduro obviously kicked off down there in Sumter, and you raced that. Give us your take about the weekend at Sumter, from expectations versus how it went.
I mean, didn't really know what to expect because I've never done anything like that. We walk the tracks at home. We walk each test 3 times, so I could tell you where every tree and rock is on those tests. So it was strange not going fast without knowing where you're going, and just so tight. Honestly, it was one of the strangest things I've ever raced.
So back home, is there anything that you raced that is even close to that tight?
I'd say World Enduro is similar, but we don't have the 25-minute tests. The big thing is we know where we're going. We don't have anything like that back there, because I guess for a safety reason, they want everyone to see what's coming up. But over here, everyone's just sending it. It was kind of fun, to be honest.
Yeah, so that is pretty much the only series that I know of where you're not allowed to pre-walk the track or know what's going on. Like you said, you kind of go into it blind. Do you think that's something that you could get on board with, or you like knowing where every tree and every rock is?
I do like to know where I'm going, to be honest. I don't know how I'm going to take to it. I want to stick to it, though. I want to finish the series off and get better every race, because the way I see it, if I'm not good at something, then I need to get better. There's no point walking away from it,
Yeah, and that's a great mentality to have, and obviously a lot of the reason for the success that you have had. So you're racing all the national enduros, all GNCCs, all national enduros?
Yep, national enduros and all GNCCs. Nothing else really. Just keep the focus on those two.
Gotcha. So this weekend we got some dueling Sprint Enduro Series races. You're not gonna be at those?
No, I mean I would like to, and after the national enduro, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, maybe I should go race sprints. But
hey, more seat time is more seat time.
Yeah, I would love to, but the guys at the team, like, we're working them. I wouldn't like to work them any harder than they are now. They're working their tails off. So yeah, we'll keep that focus on the GNCC and come out swinging, hopefully.
Well, good deal, man. And like we mentioned, less than a week and a half away from Big Buck. Obviously, right back in the mix of racing for 3 hours at that pace. Are you looking to embracing that third hour, or are you kind of dreading it already?
Yeah, I'm probably just going to be looking to survive that last hour, I think. Yeah, just let it hang out for those first two and survive after that.
There you go. I don't think you'll be the only one out there with that mentality.
Yeah, so we do 2 hour cross countries at home, but that last hour gets you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the difference maker that everyone talks about. Is what you can bring in that third hour.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be tough. The riding the 125 was tough, but this 250, it's quite a handful too.
Oh yeah. So how's it down there training with Jordan?
Yeah, real good. Well, I mean, most places we go to, we're matching each other's speed, and neither of us can go any faster. So it's awesome. If we're going around, we both know we're going as fast as we can, and I think it's bringing us both on. Plus, I mean, I can learn a lot from Jordan, watching him like last year and everything. I'm soaking it all up.
Yep. Yeah, the last couple years, Jordan's been a podium guy week in and week out, so I'm sure it's benefiting him just as much as it's benefiting you for you guys to be training down there together.
Yeah, and I'm happy with how it's going. To be honest, it didn't really show at the National Enduro because we kind of haven't been doing that kind of stuff, and I've never done that stuff. I probably should have rode in some tighter trees, but I didn't really know what to expect. We've just been putting the hours in.
Well, good deal. The good thing is that was just the first round, so you got plenty more to come, and you got a lot of GNCCs in between then and now. But, man, I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know I kind of interrupted dinner and shopping for you, so couldn't be more grateful for your time, and it was a pleasure to catch up with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you out there and battling in the XC2 class this year.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and any time to do stuff like this is it's awesome. It's good for the sport, and thanks for doing what you're doing. See you at round one.
Hey man, I appreciate that, and I'll see you at Big Buck next weekend.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, our next guest on OTP Tuesday is a 5-time youth GNCC national champion, 4-stroke A lights national champion, 250A national champion, overall top amateur, AMA Youth Rider of the Year back in the day, all sorts of accolades. JoJo Cunningham. JoJo, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. Just sitting in the house with a broken leg, wishing I could be back on my bike, but I'm trying to make the best of it while I can.
I meant to include that in my resume, or in my introduction for you. You and I are both recent recipients of some titanium in our legs. I got the lower leg, you got the upper leg. Walk us through what happened. For those that don't know, broken femur, riding practice track at the Shoals, I think 4 weeks ago now. Walk us through what happened.
Yep, 4 weeks ago on Thursday. It was just training day, just like normal. We were riding probably 70-75%. I wasn't out there to kill myself, and I caught neutral over a face, probably the smallest jump on the entire track. I mean, at the entire Shoals, it had to have been the smallest jump there was, and of course, I was the one that ended my brains out over top of it. But Yep, just caught my leg wrong and in the landing, and my leg was between my right shroud, the radiator, and in the forks, and I was just perfect angle where as soon as I landed, I heard it snap, felt it snap, and as soon as I hit the ground, I knew I was going to be out for a while.
Damn, man. And I did hear from everyone out there that you handled it like an absolute champ. We won't ask about your paramedic girlfriend that you made that day.
Yeah, if we talked about that one, my old lady would probably be mad with me. But yeah, I sat there and tried to take it like a champ. I told Stu right to his face. I told him I didn't want to cry in front of him, but yeah, it would have felt a lot better probably if I did.
Oh man. So coming off of a great season last year, top overall amateur, going into this year, what was your plan and your timeline before obviously the injury happened?
Yeah, this was going to be my last year as an A rider, and then I planned on next season, which I'm going anyways, to XC2. So this year was pretty much my year to go as fast as I possibly could to get ready for the XC2 class. So yeah, I mean, the plan this year was another overall amateur. That's all I really look forward to is a win. If it's a second place, I'm not even really happy with the second place. So if it's not winning, I'm not really happy with it. So yeah, I mean, I put a lot of effort into it, but I should be out. It's been 4 weeks now. It's supposed to be another, 6 weeks until I go back to the hospital and it clears me to start hitting the gym, everything else. But yeah, I'd like to still be able to grab another championship this year. I mean, obviously that's still the plan for everybody, but yeah, I'd like to be able to come back at Camp Coker. So like the amateur, we're allowed to miss 4 races pretty much. So take 9 of your 13. So I could miss the first 4 races, come back at Camp Coker. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to come back or not, but if I do come back, I'll have to do a lap or 2, pull over off the side of the track. Depends on how long I can take it or whatever. It's just to the point now where I'm not sure if I want to injure myself to where I'm going to have problems in the future over an amateur championship. So probably end up playing it smart and taking the time I need off and then just come out next year and give it my best. I mean, it is going to be my rookie year, but I don't really expect any less of myself after not being able to ride half of this year. I expect just as pretty much the same thing as I did rolling into next year. So, yeah, I mean, a little bit of a delayment on the whole season, but yeah, I mean, the goals are still the same. It's just a little bump in the road. So hopefully I can get over it as soon as possible and get back out there.
Yeah, man. And so you actually kind of led straight into what I was going to ask you next as far as now since the injury, what changes going forward. You mentioned you want to come back at Camp Coker, which as soon as this thing happened, it kind of became the talk of the town, if you will, because of your success last year and the hype that you were building going into this next year. And like you said, your last year before XC2. So when an off-season injury like this happens, it kind of gains a lot of traction and a lot of people are looking at it. And one of the things that came up is I was telling my buddies and like the guys that I talked with about all this is like, I wouldn't be surprised if he still wins a championship this year. And everyone kind of looks at me like I'm crazy. And just your speed and caliber of riding and with the injury that you had, that was kind of my first thought was, hey, you can miss 4 races and then come back and kind of ease into things. And then you get summer break. And then by the time summer break comes, it'll probably be in the back of your mind, hopefully, everything healing up okay. So right now, hopefully, plan is, like you said, to come back at Camp Coker. But I wanted to ask, you're 4 weeks out right now. What's the level of pain or mobility that you have with it as of now, just 4 weeks out?
Yeah, 4 weeks. I was told that everybody at the track were like, "Oh yeah, you'll walk out of the hospital tomorrow." That was my plan. I mean, obviously everybody wants to get back to 100% as soon as possible. But yeah, I'm 4 weeks in on Thursday, so I got a couple days until Thursday. And yeah, I mean, the pain was pretty much gone after the first week. I kind of toughened it out. I didn't really do any pain medication, nothing like that. I kind of toughened it out all by myself. So yeah, I mean, the pain's gone for the most part. I'm not supposed to be walking, but I can walk, but it's not the prettiest thing, I'll tell you that. So it's not the prettiest thing, but I could walk. And yeah, I've got a stationary bike. I haven't been in therapy. I've kind of been doing my own thing, and my buddy Levi Kilbarger, he's broken about every bone you could possibly think of. So he knows what it takes to get back on a bike as soon as possible, coming off of a femur. So yeah, I've got a stationary bike. I mean, I was a week in, and I started rocking back and forth, loosening up my knee and everything. So yeah, now I can get a full rotation on a bike. I can cycle and everything. So I mean, with it being 4 week mark, I think I'm pretty much like where I need to be. I think I might be a little bit ahead of schedule, but yeah, as of right now, it's looking pretty good. But yeah, I mean, the worst part is probably the knee. I mean, it's not even really the femur right now, because I could put pressure on it. The femur is not really what worries me. It's the knee getting, like me being able to bend it and use it like I want to and everything else. But I obviously know it's not going to be 100% ever again. But yeah, I would say my knee's probably at about 60% right now.
Yeah, and I think you must be a mind reader, because that was going to be my next question for this one too, is about your knee, because with mine, where my leg broke, there's no pain at all in the break or where the rod is. It's 100% in the knee and in the ankle. So obviously you posted that picture of your surgery, and that scar is a big old gnarly one going right across your knee. So did your knee, is there any structural damage? Do they think there's anything wrong with it as far as ligaments or anything are concerned, or just kind of not happy that it went through all that trauma?
Yeah, they had to cut through a little bit of muscle, which you can tell. A couple things that I'm doing around the house and at the shop. So once I can tell a few little things that I need to work on, and they had to cut through a little bit of muscle. I've not got the gnarliest grip legs out there, but yeah, I've got a lot of muscle in them. So they had to cut through a little bit of muscle. And I think that's probably like my biggest worry, is just, like you said, just getting the knee back to normal, because I don't know, I can put a lot of pressure on it. I can walk on it, like I said, but it's not like the femur hurts really. I think it's more of the knee. So yeah, once I get the knee stretched out, once I need to get the knee stronger and everything. So once I get cleared to hit the gym a little bit better, or a little bit more than what I am right now, I probably shouldn't be really hitting the gym as much as I am right now. But yeah, I would definitely say once I start hitting the gym, it'll be night and day difference. And I would say it'll be probably a couple more weeks until I can start getting on a bike after that. Like I said, I don't want to do it too early, just because I don't want to be that guy that tries to jump back on a bike too early and then ruins it for the rest of his career. Because I mean, I feel like I'm young enough to where I can still stay, or I can not stay where I'm at, but I can stay the same mindset that I've got. I don't want to feel like I need to jump up there and really pull XC2 podiums right off the bat or anything like that. So yeah, I'd like to get my knee back to normal, or as normal as I can possibly get it, before I really try sticking it back on a bike or anything like that. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, I mean, the knee's my biggest concern, and with the muscle cut and everything else, it's getting better every day. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to take time.
For sure. Has your doctor given you any timeline of when they want you to start putting weight on it and trying to walk?
Yeah, I go back in a couple weeks. I think 4 more weeks from now, and it's either then or the next time I go back after that. He's going to release me to start walking and everything on it. And yeah, once I start walking, like I said, that's when I'll start hitting the gym and start stretching out. I just don't want to overdo it, or cause any damage to it. So I'm going to take it little by little every time until I know I can really trust it. And then I'm going to try to get back on a bike. I'm not going to go out there with the mindset that I got right now. Like I think I need to be in first place right off the start. I think I need to be in the lead and everything else. I don't want to go out and thinking I need to do that. I just want to go out, hit some turn tracks, get my technique back, get just knock the rust off so I can kind of remember how to ride a motorcycle again. But I just don't want to. I definitely ain't going out and hitting all the jumps like I do on Instagram and everything else to make me look good. I'm just gonna make sure I can pretty much do the best thing I can do for me. So it's just gonna take a little bit of time, but it should get back to normal hopefully in the next couple months. So
100%, man. I'm pulling for you to make not only a quick but a full recovery on that. And it's a bummer that it happened, especially this close to the season, kind of pushing that timeline back. But like you said, hopefully there's a time frame that you can still squeeze in there and make it to Camp Coker. But I don't want to be all doom and gloom. I know we kind of talked about the injury a lot. You've had a ton of success in your career as a whole, even more so over the past few years, winning pretty much everything that you go to, it seems like, for quite some time now, from mini bikes up to big bikes. So one thing that I did want to ask is, was it a harder transition or more difficult to win when you made the transition from big bikes into that 4-stroke A lights class? Or did you think it was kind of a tougher transition going from 4-stroke A lights to 250A? Because there does seem to be a jump in competition between those two classes as well.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, 250A, just because, I mean, A lights, I feel like, is what a lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of people that hit up B lights first, but A lights, I think, is what a lot of people jumping off of minis go to. And, yeah, I would say it's definitely 250A. I mean, there's a lot of heavy hitters in there. I mean, my buddy lives down the road, Tristan Landrum, and then me and Bubs Tasha. I mean, we went at it all year long, and now I've got both of my teammates, Chase Coolville, Grant Davis in there, and then Will Seven Piper, he's in there. I mean, Zach Davidson, Tanner Collins. I mean, the list goes on. So, yeah, I mean, 250A, it's definitely, that's the class that's way harder to win. I mean, obviously it's a lot faster, as you can tell, but yeah, I would say the transition to 250A was a lot harder because everybody looks at it like the top amateur class, and A lights, not that it was easy to win A lights, because I mean, I had the first couple races of the year I was losing. I mean, it's not like I went out there and just blew everybody's doors off. And I mean, I still don't do that to this day, but A lights, it was definitely hard, but I feel like after the first couple of months or the first couple of rounds after getting on a big bike, it was pretty much my race to lose. So, after I got off of A lights and switched up, I moved up to 250A pretty early after I wrapped up the A lights championship. That was honestly probably the hardest situation right there. I mean, Birdie Johnson, I hate to say it, but he pretty much stomped on everybody all year long. And I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody else would agree with me also. I mean, the dude was just flat out ripping all year long. And I ended up getting a win there, which, I mean, he definitely had the win if he didn't have a little bit of bike issues. But when I moved up to 250A, yeah, he just kind of blew our doors off, and we didn't really have anything for him. So I would say definitely the transition from A lights to 250A was definitely the fastest.
Yeah, that's interesting, and just like you said, it seems like the top amateur podium does coincide a lot with the 250A podium, and obviously some open A riders in there too, and every now and then some 4-stroke A lights guys. But man, we've been talking about getting you on here for a while. Really appreciate you taking out the time to come and talk with us. And like I said, man, I'm hoping that leg makes a full and quick recovery, and hope to see you back out on a bike this year.
Yep, I appreciate the call. I will I'll have to catch up with all you guys. I'll be at Big Buck in what is it, next weekend? Yeah, I'll hit up Big Buck. I'll be at all the races still. So I'm sure you guys will see me out there raising hell. So, yeah, other than that, I appreciate the call, and I'll catch up with you guys. I'll be at Big Buck, like I said, next weekend, and then
Dude, we keep adding to our list right now. We gotta line up a foot race right now. It's me, you, Mac Faint. Who else we got? We're gonna have a battle of the titanium. Yeah, Mason Raider. We'll get him in there.
Mason's got us all beat. He's back out filming, and I mean he's just living the dream again. So
Mason's knee didn't even hardly slow him down. I saw him out there with a knee brace, still shooting everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think nothing's going to slow that guy down, so we're going to have to, line up and throw pits or something and get a race going or something.
Yeah, game plan, we're going for Mason first, and then it's a race between us three.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good to me.
All right, man. Well, thanks again for your time, JoJo, and we'll see you next weekend.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Yep, see ya. So now we are going to go to our final guest of the evening. This man is a college wrestling national champion, 4-time All-American, fought for the UFC welterweight title of the world. He is now the owner of the Gas Sprint Enduro Series, who kicks things off this weekend with the very first round. Josh Koscheck. Josh, how's everything going?
Hey, I'm well, man. Appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. It's an honor to be here and bring Full Gas back in 22.
Man, I'm glad that we're finally making this happen. It's been something that we've been talking about for a year now. So I'm stoked to have you on here. Appreciate your time, and even more stoked that the reason being is that we're talking about, just like you mentioned, the revival of Full Gas happening this weekend.
Yeah, we have been talking about this for quite some time, since Liberty Lane, when I broke my freaking ankle down there, on that turn. So we've been talking about getting on the show, and I'm honored to be on. And, I just think that it's going to be a great opportunity for us to bring Full Gas back in 22. And, here we are. Race weekend, his race week. We have pretty much everything set up here already at Laurinburg. Everything is done. We got a 3.6 mile cross test, and our enduro test is about 3 miles. And I'm telling you, man, it is going to be nasty. They're set. I mean, this place is set. One of my favorite places on earth to ride. And, there's some sections in here that are just going to, you can full on send it full gas. So we're excited about it. I'm super excited about this first event this weekend. And, here we are 3 days away.
Man, just talking about it has me amped up. Like you mentioned, the first time we rode together, you broke your ankle, and now here I am with a broken leg. Otherwise, I'd be right there on the starting line for this weekend as well. But
yeah,
I know. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's a bummer. I saw on your social media that I guess a deer jumped out in front of you. Huh?
Yep.
And that's a bummer.
I would say the deer won, but I think I got the best of it. The deer's dead. I just got a injured paw.
Was it a doe or a buck?
Oh, it was just a little doe.
Oh, geez. You let a little one get you?
Yep.
I would have been telling everybody it was like a freaking monster 10-point.
Well, man, I kept the bike upright, so that was cool. I'm glad it wasn't much bigger, but I kept joking with everybody. I wish I would have got it mounted, because if you just have a tiny doe mounted, the first thing anyone that sees it is going to ask is, why'd you got that mounted?
Yeah, that's awesome.
You and I kind of talked back and forth throughout the year and been in touch. But for those that don't know, how did this whole thing happen? How did we end up here? How did Josh Koscheck end up the owner of Full Gas Sprint Enduro?
Well, when Hooper made the announcement back in December 18th or roughly back in the day, and I shot you a text message, and you said, "Hey, I'm working with somebody to buy this." I said, "Okay, I said, "I know who you're working with." And, I grew up. We went to high school together, me and Todd Ely. So, so I was like, I want in. I called Todd and said, "Hey, man, I want in on this thing. I'll be a partner, silent partner. I'll just put up the money. We got to see this. We got to see Full Gas continue, because my intentions were to ride the daggone thing in 2021. Because I went to Full Gas up in West Virginia, and I was like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. Where's this been? And I loved it. And I was like, I'm going to ride every one of the races in 2021. And then he made that announcement. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I was like, I got to figure out how to get this thing or be a part of it or something. We got to continue this thing on because I want to have a series to race. And, it was so crazy at that point. And I know you've touched on your podcast in the past. And, I just said, hey, I don't want to be a part of this. I want no drama in my life. I'm so busy with building my company, Check Defense. And, I was like, I'm busy, and screw it. Let's just see if it dies down and who gets it and where it goes. Yep. So nothing happened for quite some time because of all that drama. And I was just thinking, I was like, it was like probably around, September, I started thinking, I was like, man, I need to contact Hooper because I own 100 acres up in Oxford, North Carolina. And I was like, I want to see how it is dealing with AMA on getting, an event set up, because I was going to do some small events just on my property up there. And then I said, Hooper, what are you going to do with this full gas? And he says, you want to buy it? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Put me something together, what your assets are, and put it together. And here we are, October. Come October, we finally get the deal closed around, I think, October 7th. And I'm like, oh my God, I better get my ass moving because I got a lot of work to do if I'm going to have a season in 2022. And I just started getting the right people, contacting the right people, getting everything going. And that's how it all came down. It was really simple. Hooper was amazing to work with. He gave me so much data and so much past information that he made the transition super easy. Obviously, I had to buy a ton of things. I had to buy I went out and I purchased all brand new timing and scoring, and I purchased all the transponders. I think we bought 280 transponders from My Laps. So we've invested a lot into this thing, and new RVs and tractors and tents, and today we just finished up running 14 miles worth of ribbon. So it's been a real hoot to get this thing off the ground, and I'll tell you. It's just almost kind of like my college wrestling, for example. Back in the day when I fought in the UFC, it was like the guy who works the hardest is the guy who gets the most, and I'm putting the same effort as I did in my national titles and fighting and all that into this full gas. And it's been a real freaking treat. It's been an eye-opening how much work goes into setting up one of these tracks. So every race that I go to now, I'm going to have a different perspective and kind of sit back and say, wow, look at this. Look what this person did, to put this race on for us to come and ride. And we've put a ton of effort in, on a small team. Hooper and you guys, and obviously you were part of it, and Hooper, had a small crew. We probably have a smaller crew right now than what you guys did setting up. And that's okay because, we're just out here taking our time and we're making sure it's perfect. So, but that's pretty much how it came down. It was like, hey, October, Hooper and I, had a discussion on it, and we closed October 7th. I went out and picked up all the stuff, the apparatuses, and, here we are a couple months later, putting on a race. Full gas is back.
Man, it's so cool and so crazy how quickly everything did come together once that ball got set into motion. And as you mentioned, Full Gas is a series that's near and dear to my heart, being involved with it. And
Yep.
So I think it's awesome to see it come back. And you guys are visiting some familiar locations and also some new locations. What played into your mindset as far as making the schedule and picking where you went?
Well, let me start with this first. If I didn't pull the trigger on Full Gas this year, Full Gas was gone. I don't think it was ever coming back. Or it may have came back, but it may not have come back to how we're going to bring it back at this point. I think if we'd have left it set on the shelf for a couple more years, people would have forgot about it, But, getting our schedule together was simple. It was, we probably had it together. We made probably, 6 or 7 calls, 8 calls, and we had our schedule together pretty quick. We had to do a couple shuffling here and there on some things. There were some people that weren't happy about us coming back, but, that's life. This is America. You know what I mean? You go out and you freaking want something, you do it, you go for it, and at the end of the day, we're going to let the riders, make the decision on where they go and who they want to race and where they want to race. So all I can do is just come here and put on badass tracks. and that's what we're doing. And, so we're at the point now where, hey, we're here and we're just going to freaking put on a race and, hopefully people show up and, we're going to just keep on moving forward.
Yeah, and another thing in addition to that, I know the branding is staying the same, and it is the Full Gas, and I think it comes with the history of Full Gas. But one thing that you are bringing to the table, and there's a lot of things that you're doing differently, and I'd love to hear about some more of them. But the biggest change in my mind is switching to a one-day format. It was something that we all always talked about and always played around with the idea of doing and how to make it work and the pros versus the cons. So what went through your thought process as far as that is concerned before you eventually landed on that one day instead versus the 2 days?
It was a one-day thing for me from the beginning. And the reason I, obviously, being self-employed, I have the opportunity to kind of work wherever my RV is at the point, a lot of people don't have that pleasure. A lot of the dirt bike riders are hard-working, blue-collar, 9-to-5 guys that, obviously just want to go on the weekend and kick a leg over a bike and go fast. To have to go to a Full Gas in the past, you had to leave on Friday, get there late Friday night, and then you're spending all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then you're back home late Sunday night to go to work in the morning on Monday morning, so it's tough for a lot of people to do that traveling. So, for me, I was like, okay, yeah, let's cater to the people a little more that want to just go out and just throw their leg over the bike and for one day, Full Gas, and then go home. And plus, we're a lot cheaper than what we were in the past. $55 versus $80. And we're getting the same amount of time of riding as you would over 2 days. So, if you can do that in one day, split everybody up in one day, why wouldn't you want to go there and show up and crush it and go Full Gas for 1 day rather than 2 days over it and get the same amount of riding as you did in the past Full Gases. So I think it's going to be an exciting change for people. Looking at our signups, I would say we probably have about 60 or 70 new people that have never raced a Full Gas before. So we've spent a lot of money in advertising, and we're going to continue to spend money in advertising and reach out to new markets. And I think that's what this sport needs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Full Gas, I think one of the special things about it was the atmosphere of it. You went to a Full Gas and it was unlike any other race. It was like a giant family that just travel around to these races. And it's cool to see someone taking it over that has that same drive and that same passion, and just hearing the enthusiasm that you have about it is what has me all stoked and ready to see it make the return.
Yeah, it's a big family. I mean, I'm sitting in the car right now with my Uncle Dan. Strang goes to his place and rides. He was just there today riding, and Strang and all his crew, So it's a family atmosphere. I'm bringing my family along with me on this ride. A couple uncles will be here working the event, and, we want to welcome the Full Gas into our family. And that's kind of where we're at this point. And, I just think, man, this is going to be so much fun for us, as a crew to just get together and put on races and have, friends that come down. We have a lot of veterans that are going to be working the event for us and with us. William O'Brien, obviously him and my uncle were the masterminds behind this, putting on this track. So, when you come to a Full Gas, you just know that you're going to have an awesome track, because we're done today. So guess what we're doing tomorrow? I'm throwing a leg over the old 977 and we're going riding, baby. I'm going to put some miles on this track, and I cannot wait because, obviously I'm a little selfish, you have to be successful to be selfish. You have to be successful. Okay. So I want to ride. I don't want to be promoting these things. I want to go out there and ride. After seeing this track, I'm like, oh my God, why did I do this? I want to ride. But, so I'm giving up a lot, of my time, my family time. I have a newborn. So it's kind of like I'm giving up a lot to be here and put these races on. And that's okay, because I made a commitment to bring this thing back, and I made a commitment to the riders. And guess what? I don't care if the pros show up. I don't care this is for everybody. It's not about the pros, this full gas is for everybody. We have a lot of 50-year-olds. We had a 74-year-old call us and ask if he could come ride. And I was like, heck yeah, dude, bring it, So full gas is a family atmosphere, and we want everybody to come out and enjoy it.
Dude, that's so awesome to hear. And like I said, just hearing your enthusiasm has me like amped up. Like, man, I wish that there was something I could do to be able to ride this weekend, but I don't think my doctor would appreciate that.
Well, when you get healthy, I'll save a spot. I'll comp you one. I can definitely comp you one. I know somebody. So.
Perfect. I'm gonna take you up on that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
hey, you know what? Like, here's another thing too. I'll just ask you this. I know that you put on the Full Gas Instagram about us offering year-end bonuses.
Yeah.
Why is the off-road community reminds me a lot of old school MMA.
Yep.
Like crazy. It's like, you guys, this sport needs to advance. And I think that other organizations out there need to offer year-end bonuses. Put it out there to these guys. I think our pro riders obviously are a little underpaid, and we're going to try to increase that and help grow the sport of off-road and give back to these pros, because these dudes fly. Putting the way they come and they put on a show for us out there. I can't wait to go and watch some of the guys ride around this track. I'm going to go out there and sit, put up my canopy and, grab a coffee and sit back and watch a couple of laps. So my goal is to grow this thing and advance the sport of off-road racing. And, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to put that incentive bonus out. Hey, our pro one, our pro of all the pros, the top 3 pros are going to get the split of the piece of that money. And, and we're going to do it for the women as well. So, we have a lot of the women hitting us up and saying, hey, I got hurt at what's his name. Can I just come and do one lap? And I'm like, yeah, you can. You'll score points. So, people are committed to this, and because we're being open and we want to advance the sport of off-road. I don't know what other organizations offer, if they do anything like that, but I don't know if we're the first, but I'd like to say that we are, to put it out to the public and say, hey, this is year-end bonus. We want to pay you guys. And because these guys, they send it, man. They put it on the line when they come to a full gas in any event. So it'd be pretty cool to see other organizations out there do that.
For sure. And that is one thing that I was planning on getting into with you. And I did share that because I do think that is taking leaps forward in this sport and in everything that is going on in the off-road world. And it's something that you and I have talked about in the past. And basically the reason that this podcast exists is because there wasn't anything else like it. There was no media coverage covering the sport in any way, shape, or form that really got the riders' perspectives out there. And the whole point of doing that was to shine a brighter light onto off-road, which ultimately brings more people, which ultimately brings more sponsors, which ultimately brings more money for the riders. Yep. And
absolutely,
to my knowledge, I don't know of any other series that offers year-end incentives or championship bonus like you're doing. So that's why I immediately shared that thing, because I think that is a giant step forward, and I think that is something that absolutely needs to catch on across the board, because these riders earn it for sure.
Yeah, I don't, obviously you were in a part of the full gas when it was going to be sold, and you've seen the P&Ls, I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because of my passion for off-road racing. I didn't in my past life, I couldn't race dirt bikes. And as a kid, I was so broke that I couldn't afford a dirt bike. All my friends had awesome CR80s and this and that, and I was like, oh my God, I'd love to ride that. That'd be so cool. Well, you keep working hard, son, you'll get one someday. That's what my grandpap would say to me. So, so for me, it was, it's such a passion that, once I got done with my fighting career, the first thing I did was I got out and got a dirt bike. And especially since I moved to North Carolina, my old Uncle Dan, he was like 58 at the time. And we're up at the family farm in Waynesburg. And he's like, hey, I got my other bike. Let's go for a race. And I was like, oh, I'm going to smoke you on, Dan. Little did I know that he smoked me. And I said, okay, I'm going to freaking down to North Carolina. When I get home, I'm buying 2 dirt bikes. Within a week, I had 2 dirt bikes, and I was at Henderson NCMP just freaking learning how to ride. And this was like 3 years ago, So, I've only been on the bike literally for 3 years. And I wouldn't say I'm a slow rider, and I wouldn't say I'm a fast rider. I just love it. And I love to twist the throttle on that freaking Yamaha at 977 and put the front wheel up and just go spin the tire.
Yeah. And I mean, I try to tell people about it, but unless you've wrestled, you just don't get it. But that wrestler mentality, I think, follows you throughout life, which obviously has been the case for you in everything you've done from, your combat sports career to Czech defense and everything that you're doing now with riding. So the level of progression that you've seen just since you started riding dirt bikes and now, you definitely are fast for the amount of time that you've been riding, for sure. And it's just cool to see how quickly this bug can bite you. And because I never rode a dirt bike until I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
And now my life revolves around it.
Yeah. I was 43, 42. No, 42 when I started, 41, something like that. So, but yeah, I've ridden. When I was in California, we would obviously go out to the desert and ride. I had a Yamaha 450, and I would, obviously be careful, but we would go putt around. It was nothing like I was able to ride like we are here on the East Coast. And, off-road racing, here I am. The passion now is carried from, riding and racing to owning a series, which is nuts. In the matter of 3 years, here I am owning full Gas Sprint Enduro, putting on my first race as a promoter, and I'm just excited about the opportunity, to bring this thing back, because if I didn't, you could have just put a tombstone over full gas and it would have been like everybody would have been reminiscing. But 2014, Full Gas was founded, and Jason Hooper, God bless him, he created something here. He brought something to the United States that was well needed. The history of Full Gas is there, and it's now my turn to carry the torch and carry the Full Gas history into something more positive for riders, and grow this thing and create opportunities for our pro riders to make more money, and that's my goal.
Yeah, man, and I'm rooting for you. I'm glad to see this thing back, and glad to see everything you're doing and putting into it. So over the past few years that you have been riding, you've raced North Carolina races, you've raced Mid-East races, you've raced GNCCs, you raced the Full Gas at Hidden Valley. How much of that stuff from your racing experience so far have you taken with you into developing these racetracks and going forward with promoting them?
Pretty much, I've stayed pretty much out of the racetrack. I let the other guys do that. I let the guys that have way more experience than me. And that's part of being an owner of a company, is you got to delegate. And one of the things that I've done well is obviously I'll go and ride it and say, hey, let's change this. I like it. Or, what about this? Do you think about that? I have 100 acres. I'm building trails all the time on that thing. So I know how to build trails, and I have guys that know how to build the trails, that are way better than me at it. So I let them handle that. And then I just kind of go, hey, all right, let's ride it. Let's see how good it is. And I can tell you this, I was a part of this one. And man, is it going to be fast and fun. The sand there's some sand sections that are just gnarly deep, and it's going to test riders. There's some one section of this thing we call the roller coaster down here at Laurinburg. And it's the second you get into the woods in one of the sections, you're going to get dizzy because there's some turns and turns and turns, but they're awesome, fun, fast, flowy, sandy turns that are just going to get rutted up and just nasty. I was in there with the backhoe the other day, just working the backhoe, cleaning up some of the turns and flatten them out and making them smooth so that, these guys come in. And I think that one of the things too is the Saturday guys are going to beat the hell out of this track, and then it's going to even be better for the Sunday guys. It'll be a little rough, almost like kind of like a mini GNCC.
For sure, and I'm excited to see it, especially once you get all the lines and everything broken in, just like you said. By the time Sunday comes around, I think it's going to be perfect. But
yeah.
Last question here, man, and I really appreciate your time. I can't thank you enough. But as far as your roles over the race weekend, as you mentioned, delegating stuff here or there, what is your plan? What are you going to do over the weekend?
I'm the AMA referee, Bo.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering if you were.
Hey, Bo. Hey, Bo Gator. I'm the AMA referee. I'm overseeing this dog.
Oh man! So some of the craziest experiences that I saw at Full Gas was, I don't want to blame it all on mini parents because vet riders are just as bad, and you'll see it across all classes. But man, they will come up hot and heavy, and they will start yelling, and they freak out. And so now, y'all fellas that are racing this thing this weekend, you ain't never seen an AMA referee like the one you got this weekend at Full Gas.
Yeah, boy. Hey, step back. 6 feet, social distance.
So hopefully you're going to get a lot more respectful requests for protest than what we've seen.
Yeah, and quite honestly, the nice thing about the AMA, and they handle those, and we're just excited to be a part of them, and hopefully we can kind of work with them in the future on figuring out some things that need to get figured out. And but yeah, it's been a hoot to get involved with an AMA series, and it's the history of AMA is there, with the Full Gas, and I think it's a winning team. So come race. Listen, February 12th and 13th, Laurinburg, North Carolina. Get your butts out here and come check this out. And if you're lucky, I'll snap a picture with you and give you an autograph.
Perfect. Sounds like an awesome weekend, man. I will be there on Sunday for sure to check it out. Actually, fun fact, the very first race that I ever won in my life was at Outback in Laurinburg there. So Mid-East used to race there each year. So.
Yes. And I don't know why nobody comes here and races. There's 800 acres. This place is amazing.
And awesome dirt. Like, you can't get dirt much better in that place.
It rained so hard on Monday. We were here, me and my uncle, he was in the trailer. Check this out. I'll end on this. He was in the trailer or in the truck. I said, Dan, get in the truck. I got this. You're old. If you get the flu and die on me, I ain't going to, your wife, she'll freaking never forgive me. So I got him in the truck. Monday morning, it was raining like dog out here. And he's in the truck driving. I'm pounding steaks, probably close to 1,500 steaks we do, in 3 hours. So all about it.
Yeah. Well, man, excited to see the hard work pay off this weekend. Hammering steaks and laying out 14 miles of ribbon takes a lot. So stoked to see the turnout this weekend. Everybody go check out the very first Full Gas Reloaded. And Josh, man, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you this weekend.
All right, sir. Have a great one.
Thanks, man. You too.
Over.